Hey everybody, it's Rob here. Today I want to talk about the Season 3 tier list with the best builds. I have everything drafted here. Keep in mind guys, we have not been able to play this patch. We also don't fully know the true power of this pet companion. So things might change, and this is just my best guess of what the best builds here are gonna be in the next season. We also not gonna have Abattoir of Zir in the game anymore, and the Gauntlet is also not coming out for a long time, probably a couple weeks. So we're gonna be starting the season without that, and the main challenge I guess is gonna be Nightmare Dungeon 100, and as you guys know from the future, a lot of builds are viable in the Nightmare Dungeons and also just in the open world, and I also think the vaults are gonna be around the same difficulty as the Nightmare Dungeons, and even if the Gauntlet comes, I think many of those builds here, also in A and in B tier, will be very viable to play, guys, because it's mostly going to be about speed clearing the content. It's going to be about speed farming, and no class is weak. I think every class with the recent patch here that I'm going to link in the description, we got the full patch notes, there has been huge buffs for all the classes. There's something good for every class. Barb got a lot of cool changes. Yes, Hoda got the nerf, but overall, like, strong, powerful. Druid got the Lightning Storm. Meteor got the Sorc got the Meteor thing. Necro, we got like crazy changes to the pets, and we also got a lot of changes to one of the core rings here that Necro was using. The uber unique Starless Sky is finally viable, and it's gonna bump up like builds like Bone Spear, Bone Spirit, like quite a lot. Generator stonks are going up as well because we got a lot of new items for generator builds, such as Stormclaw Druid, such as Arclash or Frenzy Barb even. So there is a lot of exciting things. Rogue got a lot of ranged buffs. There are a lot of exciting things in this patch for every class, no matter what you play, and every class will be easily dominate the end game if you follow a proper build guide, and that's what I'm here for. I'm going to show you the power level. I also have some planner links here on the right side, so this doesn't have like all the planner links. I'm still working on it, and there's just been we just got the patch notes yesterday, and the season already starts on Tuesday in a few days here, so there is limited time, and I'll do my best to update you with as many builds as I can. I also plan to do at least 1 or 2 leveling builds for like Barb. But yeah, like for now we're gonna focus on the end game. So this tier list is mainly speed focused, but also like power focused, of course, in the end. But mainly you want to like focus on just doing like fast-paced runs with a very mobile and good build. And that's why I also think the strongest build, or one of the strongest builds in the game, is the Lightning Shred Druid. Lightning Storm Druid, not Shred. Shred is unfortunately nerfed a bit. But this build basically hits the entire screen, like you can see here. And it has basically infinite range, and you just like AoE attack everything. And there is a new legendary coming, new unique coming to this Druid that is basically gonna allow the build to attack again and to deal more damage on top of everything. So this is probably one of the strongest builds. Again, you get another 2.1 like double damage buff and another 1.2 because they are buffing some of the boons here on Druid to be multiplicative again. So we have the Aharian Raft. This one gives you a 1.3 multiplicative crit damage. So it's pretty insane, and definitely one of the strongest builds. Again, the planners are going to be in the tier list here. The sheet is going to be in the description. Then we have next a bunch of Barb builds here, also in S tier. We have the Charge Barb. This one got a huge damage buff. It's also going to be a very strong leveling build, I think. It got cooldown buffs. The terrain requirement is gone on Charge. And the Martial Glyph. This was one of the biggest surprises to me. The Martial Glyph now reduces the cooldown of every non-shot skill by 4 seconds, and this is basically elevating the entire Barbarian class to be even more viable, because now you can reduce your cooldown of your charge, you can reduce the cooldown of your Wrath of the Berserk, you can reduce the cooldown of your Groundstorm, of your Leap. It's like a really cool thing, because Barb was really lacking like a way of reducing cooldowns. Sorc and other classes like Necros, like they have different ways of reducing the cooldown. Barb didn't really have anything like that. But now we finally got something with the Martial Glyph, a huge W change here. And we also have the bleed option now on the new Ring of Ravenous that we are going to be rocking in this charge barb here. So Ring of Ravenous, it increases Rand's duration, so it's also increasing the DPS, and it applies whenever we use a brawling skill, and charge is a brawling skill, it's going to apply this bleed. So we can just walk around here. I'm just going in-game. And this is the build that I'm most likely going to start with. Like, we will just be able to You know, if they don't die, we charge these into a wall, and we don't even need to charge them into a wall. You know, we get cooldown back on charge, and they also all gonna bleed to death for another pretty crazy 144% times 2 basically, because you're applying 2 rent stack bases with this ring. Like you apply 2 stacks of rent. So this is actually pretty insane, man. And I'm very much looking forward to this. It's going to be a very strong leveling spec. You just pick up charge, and I mean, obviously you're not going to have this ring yet, but you just pick up charge and it already does some crazy amount of damage. Like it's going from 25% to 250% damage. So it's increased by times 10, guys, on the base. Very insane, super cool build. Looking forward to that. Then we have the Hoda Barb. The damage got nerfed quite a bit. Like it's roughly divided by 2 with like the nerfs, but it's still a very strong build because Hoda Barb was just so sky high. It was hitting for billions of damage, and now it's still gonna hit in the triple-digit million, which is still enough to probably one-shot Uber Durail, to one-shot like everything in the game. So it's still gonna be a very potent build. It has been nerfed, but it has not been nerfed like super crazy. And there is a lot of new potential for Hoda with the new Starless Sky Ring, which also reduces your resources, but it also increases your damage by another 1.4x, and it has very good stats already: crit chance, crit damage, lucky hit, and core. So some pretty cool stuff here on the Barb coming up. Then next we have A tier, and this might as well also just be S tier. Like these are very close. You just sometimes have to make a decision. I could also just call this S and call this S plus. You know, because these builds will completely dominate the game as well. And the first thing I have here is the Meteor Firewall Sorcerer. So it's getting a new helm. This Sorcerer, I am going to have the planner here. It's getting the Starfall Corona, which basically allows more meteors to fall after casting 1 meteor. And this can trigger an infinite chain of meteors. And you can just see it here in this clip. Like I basically cast 1 meteor and...
4, 5,
it just keeps proccing. Like I'm just counting here. It procs meteors, and the meteors proc firewalls, and the firewalls can proc meteors, and this can just basically go until infinity if you have enough lucky hit chance, because it's all based on your enchantments and on lucky hit chance. And yeah, as long as you are getting into that, it's gonna be pretty insane, because this new helm also has 25%, you can't see it here, but it has 25% lucky hit chance, which makes the build, yeah, very, very strong. So yeah, Meteor Fire Sorc is looking good. The only reason it's not S tier, because there is a slight delay. Like you cast a Meteor and it's taking like a second before it falls down, basically. But yeah, it's still one of the strongest builds. So very nice. We also have the Blizzard Sorc. This is already an old build. It's still very solid. There hasn't been any nerfs to it, and it's still one of the strongest builds, especially against big targets with all the ice spikes doing tremendous amounts of damage. Then we have the Ball Lightning Sorc here. So this one is an interesting one. The patch note is very unclear of how much the nerf really is. We are thinking, and I've been talking a bit with Northwa, we are thinking the nerf is between divided by 2 or up to divided by 7. So this Ball Lightning Sorc obviously has been the most popular build in the last season. It could still be S tier if the damage is only divided by 2 on the best in slot end. And most likely it's going to be A tier because damage will be divided by 4 or something. But worst case, damage will be something like divided by 7, and then it could fall down all the way to B tier. But overall, I think still a very solid build. Then we have the Rogue. So Penshot, in general, ranged Rogue stonks has been going up a lot because there's been a lot of buffs to it. And melee, especially the Twisting Blades, the imbuement has been fixed, and the broken combo point interaction bug has been fixed. So this one, the melee Rogues is going down. I think I have it, I don't even know if I kept listing it. Yeah, Twisting Blades Rogue, I have it down here in B tier because, yeah, there's double nerfs to it. So damage, I don't know, I think it's like divided by 5 or something. So it went down quite a lot. It was an S tier before, and now it's just like down. And yeah, but I think Penshot and all the Rogues in particular, they got a lot of reworks. Precision Sky Hunter, like there's a lot of like unique buffs as well to most of the stuff. So I think Ranged Rogue is looking pretty solid, and it's also a very strong leveling build. So yeah, Rogue also has very strong builds. Then we have the Bone Spear Necro. I do have a planner for this one. And yeah, this one is still a very strong build. And once you find your Starless guy, I think this might be one of the best builds in the game, because the build is very fast. You stack a lot of movement speed. And you have basically one-shot potential, like you just walk and you kill everything with your Bone Spear, and the splinters, they all explode. And yeah, the Starless Sky buff to this is insane. And there's also some new mechanics with Bone Spirit that can now grant you Essence, and we are actually playing the Shattered Spirit aspect, the new one. Wherever we cast a Bone Spear, it launches 18 Bone Splinter projectiles that each of them generates 6 Essence. So in theory, like let's say you're in a big pool, you're actually getting 108 Essence and then times all your resource multipliers. So you're almost getting like 200, like it's basically full Essence pool that you're getting. And your Bone Spirit also gives you back a % of your Essence after every cast. So the way it will work is, once your Essence is very low, you just cast a Bone Spirit. It will consume all your remaining Essence, but you didn't have any Essence anyways because you were super low. And then it will generate you back the Essence, and it will also trigger the Shattered Spirit aspect. So basically gonna refill your Essence instantly, and then still gonna regenerate 30% Essence over the next 4 seconds. So you get extra regeneration, and you also get cooldown back when you crit. So pretty cool stuff, like pretty standard things here. And yeah, in all my builds, I basically try to put in the stones already here. We always like using support to buff our character. So Evernight, Shaco buff, and we're also using the resource support here. So this one gains you even more resources, and you guys know a Bone Spear does a lot of damage when your Essence is full, when your resource is full, so you want to be maintaining all these resources. And yeah, but yeah, take these stones with a grain of salt, guys. I have them in the builds, but we'll have to test it, man. It's impossible to know how good or how bad they will be. Because yeah, the pet, I mean, is a very nice idea, but I'm just afraid that like this construct, for example, like you're fighting 10 elite packs over here, and then there's one small spider over here, and the construct, instead of shooting the 10 elites, it's just going to unload all the skills on a small spider in the corner, and it's going to miss all the elites. So I'm not really sure how the AI of this construct will work. We'll see. Pets can be pretty cool if they are not stupid. So I hope they are not stupid, but again, this might impact things a lot more, and I'll try to keep this tier list up to date, obviously. Yeah, then we have Bone Spirit, also huge buffs over power stuff. Maybe we can make a pure Bone Spirit build. I haven't really looked into it that much, but it looks pretty promising. So very strong build as well. Then we have Stormclaw. This one has 2 new aspects, the ones that we already talked about. Basically, all the basic skill generators are going like up like crazy, because you're getting a triple damage multiplier plus an AoE component to them, 2 basic skills, and you're getting another 1.8x when it's cast above 50% resources. So that is pretty insane. So your Stormclaw, actually, I did the math here, it's going up around 7x, because you're getting the boon buff and you're getting like these multipliers. So you're getting like 7 times more damage than you had before, and Stormclaw was already a pretty solid build. This is playing the Crone stuff, so you have like a Claw and Storm Strike, I think it's called. So you're basically casting 2 generators at the same time, and then you're getting like a times 7x, plus you're getting the AoE component. So this is probably going to shape up to be one of the strongest Druid builds next to Lightning Storm, and also Pulverize, which also benefits a lot from the Starless Sky buff and from the Boon buff. And it was already a very strong build, and the overpower nerfs are very, very minor. Like you're just losing some additive damage, which is not really that relevant. And like, yeah, with Starless Sky, like, Pulverize is basically a good upheaval buff. So I'm not really sure actually which one is going to be better, because upheaval also got a bunch of buffs. We have the new Sundered Ground. Let me open this planner. We have the new Sundered Ground uniques that will help even with more overpowers on the upheaval here. So whenever we, every 25 seconds, upheaval is a guaranteed to overpower. And this timer is reduced by 4 seconds whenever we hit an elite. So we are just planning on doing a lot of overpowers and like getting more overpowers, because we're going to be reducing the cooldown of this Sundered Ground. And it's also going to give us 20% more damage. So this one is also pretty strong. I think these are going to be feeling very similar. Like Pulverize has big AoE overpowers. Upheaval has big AoE and overpowers. I think they are both going to be very strong, and they got a lot of buff this season. And yeah, these guys are also like candidates basically to be, I mean, frankly, everything here in A tier has is basically also very close to all the S tier builds, and has no problems clearing everything in the game. So if you're looking for any build to play, I would strongly suggest you play one of the S or one of the A tier builds here, because you're just gonna have a lot of fun. You're gonna obliterate the content. You're gonna kill Lilith easy. You're gonna probably get the vaults easy. On some builds you might need to dodge the traps. Some other builds like the Sorc, they just have teleport. They have flame shield. They can just like teleport over those traps. But yeah, then next we have Double Swing. It's still a very strong build on Barb. Barb in general is very high power. But there's not really any changes to Double Swing, so there isn't anything new. So this one is not too exciting to me. It's still a solid build if you like the playstyle. But yeah, the AoE is still very small. So just keep that in mind if you're playing that build. And then Rend seems like a decent buff. I put this in S tier because I'm hoping that the Gushing Wounds passive actually becomes a multiplier like it says. Like the tooltip here is wrong, like it does not multiply your damage, it's just some additive portion of your damage. So unfortunately Gushing Wounds is still very weak unless they fix this bug where it's not scaling properly. It's very hard to test it, but from what I learned, like every bleed build that you play still plays better with Unbridled Rage, and I think it's stupid. I hope they will address, I gave feedback on this, I hope they will address this and make it a true multiplier in the future, and maybe they did, and it's just not listed in the patch notes. I'm still hoping that, because then it's really strong, but mostly this is a part of the charge Barb build. So you're just on charge, you're basically just applying bleeds on top of what you're already doing with the Ring of Revenus. So I don't think it's going to be a standalone build necessarily for most players. Like if you like bleeds, I recommend you play Charge Barb and add this ring when you find it. We actually don't know where we can target farm these Ring of Revenus, for example, if it drops on Duriel or if it drops on some other Uber boss. We don't have any information on that. If you guys know anything, please let me know in the comments, because I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to be looking out for these rings whenever I start with Barb in the season. Then we also have Deathblow, and this one also tremendously benefits again from the Martial Glyph, because with Martial Glyph, casting a shout will reset the cooldown of Deathblow. And this has been a huge problem for the build before, that whenever you don't kill something with your Deathblow, your cooldown is not reset. But now with the Martial Glyph, we can actually fix that. So this one also got a good buff here. And yeah, Deathblow Blood seems to be very viable. And you can also play the Ring of Red Furor to also make it a guaranteed crit. And then you play like the Banished Lord Talisman to also make it a guaranteed overpower. So it's looking pretty potent for this build as well. Yeah, then we come to B tier. So again, S and A tier, guys, this is like the builds I definitely recommend you play. So B tier is still very nice, and all the other tiers below here. But I think if you want to have a cool experience, obviously play what you want. But if you want to be like feeling powerful, I think S and A tier here, like all these can beat anything in the game with ease, guys, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. But yeah, we have the B tier here with Arclash. This has also been a Arclash. This is be short. It's also been buffed a lot. We got the 2 new aspects that we also use on Stormclaw, so we're getting big damage multiplier plus additional AoE damage, very strong. I'm gonna keep this short. We have Tornado Druid. This one also got a boon buff, but it's still like medium DPS. It's not as high as other builds. I think the Stormclaw and also the Pulverize as well as the Lightning Storm Druid are gonna outperform the Tornado. But who knows? I mean, at the very end, if DPS is enough to just, kill the Gauntlet, which is about Nightmare Dungeon tier 70, it might be enough. We also have the Shred build. So Blurred Beast is basically completely gone. Like they completely removed the double dipping and the way it works. So now it just gives you a flat 1.4 on your Shred, which is still pretty decent. But I'm nowhere near as strong as it used to be. It might still be a very fast-paced build for like low-level content, because it has this like teleport ability. It just like ports around and kills everything basically, if the damage is high enough. We'll have to see how crazy the Gauntlet will be, but whenever the Gauntlet comes, guys, I'm planning to do an update on this tier list anyways. I'm gonna have another video then, probably like around end of February, when it's coming like 4 weeks from now. And I'll keep you updated with the recent stuff. But yeah, Shred Druid still has potential there. Yeah, Boulder Storm, like this one didn't really like feel that that good. They buffed, I think there was some resource buffs. But overall, it's still like lacking some damage, I feel. Shadow Blight, this one actually got nerfed. This was a very strong Necro build. But I think they did nerf the lucky hit chance from Corpse Explosion, which was causing a lot of triggers. And I also think it's a strong build, but it's not really the fastest build. Like Infinimus, you're like pretty slow while you're in Infinimus. You have low movement speed. Necro in general is struggling a bit with having utility. There's like no teleport, no like blood rush ability or something. So it might be a bit slow. Similar for the Bloodlands Necro, it has good AoE scaling, but also is very slow. Twisting Blade Rogue has basically been nerfed twice, like you have the combo points that were nerfed, and you have the Poison Imbuement double dipping. I mean, it's 2 bug fixes, so not really a nerf, but damage went down by 5 or something. It's still gonna be a decent build, but not stronger than the ranged builds, I think, hopefully. Because I think it's really cool to see Rogue finally have some viable ranged builds. Because we have basically been playing melee Rogue for, or the meta has been melee Rogue for like the better part of the half year that the Rogue exists. Everybody's, or most people have been playing Twisting Blade Rogue. And I'm very happy to see some ranged love, like some actual bow builds on Rogue. Because I think that's, to me, what the Rogue is like mostly like you know, known for, like having a range build. And I think like bow and arrow, that's pretty cool. Then we have C tier here, we have the Frenzy Barb, like it also got pretty good buffs. I still think it's gonna be too weak. It came down from like the F tier basically. We'll see. I mean, maybe we'll get surprised. Like, I'm pretty sure it can also beat Nightmare Dungeon 100, but I think it's still not close to like the new stuff that we got here. Ice Shard Sorc, always a solid build. We have Leapquake, so we actually got extra cooldown. Helps out a lot. But it lost a big multiplier on... let me see if I can find this. It lost a big multiplier on the Leap Barb. It's like the Veterans Brawler aspect. It used to buff Leap as well. But now, guys, a lot of the damage has shifted from the aspects to charge. And now Leap is just collateral damage, basically. Because they removed this multiplier from the Leap build. So you're not having a ×7 here, you only have like a ×1.8 or something. The Veterans Brawler aspect has basically been tuned down, so the Leap multiplier isn't so high anymore. We got some extra cooldown and we got some extra like base damage, I think, to Leap. But I don't think it's enough here. Base damage increased by 30% in the patch notes, but I don't think it's enough yet to make it a top build, especially with the multiplier collateral damage, I'm gonna call it. I hope they somehow, you know, either buff the base Leap more or something to make up for the aspect being like nerfed, or we'll see. And then yeah, on Whirlwind, so this has been my favorite Barbarian build. And it hurts to say, it's like probably one of the weakest Barbarian builds. It doesn't work with overpower, it doesn't work with attack speed. I really hope we're gonna get buffs for it today. Next patch for Season 4, or even mid-season, hopefully, because they already said they're gonna do balance updates mid-season. I think that would be super cool as well. But they're also changing something on the snapshotting, maybe. I'm not really sure, and you guys can let me know what you think about this in the comments, how exactly or what this should achieve. Offensive aspect, limitless rage, expectant, like all these things that we used to snapshot on Whirlwind, now have the damage bonus only last for a 5-second duration to be used. So this can mean two things. Either you can't snapshot it anymore properly and after 5 seconds it's gone, or before you use it, you have 5-second window to use it. And both of these don't really make sense to me. I don't know like what they are trying to achieve with this. Like, I'm really confused about these changes. But yeah, let me guys know in the comments. Maybe you guys know. But if this is what I think it is, it's actually a nerf, another nerf to Whirlwind, which is already one of the weakest builds and is now even weaker. So I'm really hoping to see some WW changes or buffs in the future, because it's like one of the most iconic and fan favorite Barbarian build, and it's just in the gutter right now. Literally one of the weakest core skills in the entire game, in my opinion. Then we also have Kick Barb and Thorns Barb. Like, Marshall helps a lot here with cooldown, but it's not really like that strong a build. And then we have the Thorns Barb. There's basically been no changes. So this was a lot of Barb focused. Obviously in B tier and in C tier and D tier and like F tier and all below, like there's many more builds. Again, like this tier list does not strive to like be like full completion of all possible builds. Like, I don't have a Flay build in here, for example. I don't have, like, you know, every generator build and stuff, every basic skill build. I just focus on the top, the most known, the most popular, the most fan favorite builds. And I try to rank them here, just with my opinion. No matter what you play, guys, you're gonna have a lot of fun. Like, the power level this season is very high. And the construct is probably gonna buff it even further. We got a lot of buffs to a lot of things. And overall, There's no Abattoir of Zir, there is no hard endgame content. Any build can basically clear any content in the game. I really hope that at some point we're gonna get some, you know, endgame content. Doesn't have to be like Abattoir of Zir, but something that is challenging and that's engaging for a lot of people. Maybe like change Abattoir of Zir a lot, cap the TOB glyph, and bring back like some challenging content. Because we're gonna have a lot of fun in season, but it's gonna last for a few weeks, and then we're gonna run out of things to do, because I don't really think there is a big challenge in the game. Like, obviously, lots of builds to test, lots of different classes to get into for me, so I'm not gonna get bored, but there's definitely people that want to focus and min-max one build that are gonna be, like, I think out of things or out of challenges to do very quickly. So I really hope that we're gonna have, you know, an extended endgame in Diablo 4, however that may look like, I don't know, crafting, new endgame activities, maybe like a greater rift system of some sorts, or, you know, some like delve system, or like I mean, other games do it. Like, we have so many endgame systems, for example, in Path of Exile, and you know, you can always get some inspiration on this in Diablo 4. I really hope that we're gonna get some endgame activities here at some point, and that are also gonna be, you know, like a real challenge for your build, where you really have to like prove, you know, like all the like gear and everything coming together. But we'll see, guys. I think this is gonna be a season that's gonna feel very nice for a lot of people, because again, the power level is so high, similar to season 2 starts. Like, you're gonna be dominating. Lilith is gonna be one shot, Duriel is gonna be one shot. Basically, World Tier 4 is gonna be a joke. Maybe we're gonna get a World Tier 5 soon, who knows. But yeah, that would be my wishes, man. Buff to Whirlwind, and maybe some more interesting, deep endgame systems. I mean, there is the vaults, but I think the vaults are gonna be rather easy, similar to Nightmare Dungeons. But we'll see what the future brings, guys. I'm excited. I'm gonna blast. I'll keep you guys updated. Many more build guides are coming right here. The tier list, again, is gonna be linked in the description. Hope you enjoyed this overview. Let me know in the comments what you think, or what build you're gonna start with. Take care, my friends. GG. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like or a comment. I'm also live on Twitch almost every day, so come and say hi.